All right, and welcome back, everybody, to Trucks and Trains. This is Sean. Excuse my voice if you notice I'm a little hoarse, a little congested, been sick for a little while. Trying to get over it, but anyways, I want to bring to you today my layout that I don't think I've showcased or done anything on this channel with. I know that I had showcased my first build, which was the 4x8 little layout, had an oval, low yard. I ended up calling that Meadowville. And then I've showcased building my N scale that's in the semi, but I don't think that I've ever gotten around to showcasing this. This one is a 8 foot by 2 foot switching layout. And originally it was just built as kind of a modular, but nothing that was going to be amount to anything. It was more of just a like a time saver type of a layout to do some switching puzzles and that sort of stuff. Because on the other layout that I had, the 4x8, it was, like I said, an oval. There was one industry, small yard. There really wasn't much that I was able to switch around. So I wanted something that I could actually think about of having, you know, the car there, whether I got to push or shove, you know, trying to get things and a run around track and that sort of stuff. So that's why I ended up building this, and I built it as, like I said, a modular type of situation where I've got the track that runs off both ends. And I did that so that way in the event in the future I could put it as part of a room layout, which I want to do one of these days. But my other hobby is collecting light bars and emergency equipment and that sort of stuff. So that room is full of all that garbage right now, and I've got to find room to move all that stuff too. So unfortunately, at this point, this is what I've got. I sold off that 4x8, so this is all I have right now to play with. The truck is outside, but it's also 20 degrees, and I'm not going to spend any more time in that truck than I have to. So when I'm at home, I don't play around in there. But anyways, I've got this set up as DCC. I run the NCE Power Cab. It's the easiest, user-friendly. That does sit in a cradle. It was a 3D printed unit that I got at Hobbytown in Indianapolis. They had different styles. It comes in white. They had BNSF, Santa Fe, Monon, a few different road names. I, of course, went with BNSF, painted it orange, and then painted the black on there as well. I just recently, like within the last week or so, put the fascia on and did all the switches. And today I finally got around to adding the skirting, which is just thrown on there with some Velcro. Where do I start on it? Basically, like I said, I've got a bunch of switches. Shortly after I had put this together, I used Atlas, I believe it is, Flex Track. It is code 100, except for this turnout here. That's code 83. Didn't realize it at the time when I bought it, but it works. But I was originally going to go with Pico's turnouts. However, they didn't have enough at Hobbytown. I think I've got like 3 of them on here. There is 9 total switches on this layout. And so I got the 3 Picos because I liked them. They were solid. I liked the clip that they make. You knew that it was turned and there was no problems. The rest of them were Walders, which here's the Picos right here. Again, good switch, nothing wrong with them. But they didn't have enough, so I went with the Walders. And this one here still got as manual with the thumb throw. About a year ago or so, I can't remember how long, I think it's been about a year or so, but for some reason this switch here ended up, I think the spring broke or something. So I had, in fact, yeah, it was just over a year ago, or right around a year, because I had gotten the Rapido mystery box for Christmas. And it came with one of their Rail Crew automatic switchers, or switching machine. And it worked out perfect because I could throw it back there and then I didn't have to worry. The switch would actually work. And so I was impressed with that. I didn't necessarily want, that one got hidden pretty well. It's not too bad, but I didn't necessarily want to do anything to putting automatic switches in, because as you can see here, once everything is done, it sucks to have to put things into it. The nice thing with these are, if you've got a layout that's already done, it is easy enough to put these in. It's just a matter of having to hide them afterwards. So I ended up going on Amazon and I found a 6-pack, and I needed 8, but 6 was well enough. Then I got them, and I've been sitting on them for close to a year now. Finally, just the other day, last week sometime, this one here decided it was going to go. Which I think is another Pico's, actually. It acted like something was getting stuck between the closing rail, but I didn't see anything. I just finally gave up. I said, you know what? In these things go. Anyways, you just drill the hole in through the foam, through the wood. You drill, it takes the same size bit, or I use the same size bit to put the switch in through the bench work, and then just simply wire it up and put in a little connecting rod, and then you've got a working turnout. So right there. So there was a lot of cussing with that one, I will say that much. Sorry I had to go and change batteries. I also decided to turn him off just because, yeah, he's idling. He's kind of cool, but it eventually gets annoying. So like I was saying, a lot of cussing went on with this one, but I've finally figured out the system of how to do it, and I ended up basically, there's a little plate that goes on top of here that I was able to use as a template to get to each of the other ones. I used an X-Acto knife to cut down through around the template, and then use the Forstner bit to go through the wood, and then the switch, did all that, and it worked out a lot more, a lot easier. And I just went and said, you know what, I'm just going to take the day and I'm going to do them all. So just did that the other day. And so I got all of them done, except for, like I said, I needed 2 more. And I haven't ordered them yet, and I don't know if I will. I'm not in any rush because I left the one, I've got an engine house down here, and so the one going to diverting track, whatever you want to call it, into each of the stalls, and then the one coming off the main line in diversion into the engine house area. Those are manual, so I can deal with that. But as for all of the other switches, they are now powered, and I like that. And it ended up looking pretty clean on the front end too. Would I use these Rapidos if I'm currently building a layout and I can access from underneath the tortoise and that sort of stuff? Possibly not. They are quick snaps, so they make noise. They're very quick, whereas with the tortoise you can get the slow, and it looks a little bit more prototypical. But for an emergency where a switch goes down, you really don't want to pull it out and have to do track work and sort of stuff like that. Definitely worth the money. I can't remember how much they are. I think $50 each or something. I cannot remember, so don't even quote me on that. That's that. I do have one signal here, and I can't quite get to the angle of it. There we go. I believe it's Walthers that makes that. It's a starting kit. I've got a switch under here, but I'm gonna have to figure out what I'm gonna do because I can't reach it with the skirting, so just figured that out. But it does cycle through. It goes from red when you switch it. It'll hit yellow for about 8 seconds and then goes to green. There is a way, I believe, to wire it to tracks to be able to do the blocking and that sort of stuff. But Again, that's above my knowledge level at this point, and I just wanted something on there just for now. Let's start over here. Like I said, I've got this engine house here. This was a train show find. Threw some inside, also put one at this door here, and another one at this door here where this guy's in the corner smoking. So don't bother him, he's on break. Just plugged, I can't remember. Also added a couple of lights down here. That's a 3-pack that I think worked out pretty well. So yeah, I got that at the train show. The wife liked it. She was the one that noticed it, and I'm like, you know what? I don't care. I go there and I find things, and I just pick it up and say, eventually I'll find a use for it. Sure enough, it works out perfectly for this layout here. Then we've got this back here. This was a Walthers kit, which you can say that a kit bashed. I don't know. This wall here actually is the flip side. It's the back side of that. It's just a small little skinny building meant for background. And I just thought it wasn't big enough, so I just kind of quote unquote kit bashed it and just brought it out here, made it look a little bit longer. Again, added the Woodland Scenic light where the guy is kind of half cocked, must be drunk or something, but as well as, if we scoot that out of the way, I've got one back here as well, with that guy pushing the box. So yeah, built that kit from scratch. This here is a Wix. This is actually 2 kits. The Wix, I think it's concrete overpass. I just wanted something to kind of give some seam block, a little bit of depth, and some height. And you know what? It worked out pretty well. I liked it. So at an emergency equipment swap meet, actually, I found these 3 fire trucks and the fire marshal's car that was all lit up, and they are HO scale. And I thought, you know what, me being on the fire department and into emergency lighting and being HO scale, I needed to get it for the layout. So that's exactly what I did. Of course, we got the old dual semi here who's kind of in the way, but hopefully he'll get going and move out of the way. That way they can get to where they need to go. Those will eventually move, I think, when I do build the rest of the layout. I have a different place for them. I've got a building that's half burnt down, so I'll put them over there with that. But then over here we got, I found this and this billboard at a train show again. I think it was the same one that I found that building at. And I just like the looks of them, so I had to get them. Didn't know where to put them, but I think they kind of work out there. This here is a little swamp area, little wetlands. Had some throwaway cars from another set that I'd purchased, another layout that I'd purchased, and just kind of threw them there, and it kind of looks like they're, you know, abandoned out in the middle of nowhere. This here was a kit, starts with a D. DIC something, I can't remember offhand. It's kind of a modular kit that you can create your own building basically, and this was one of the styles that they did. So as it's not really a building that's accessible by rail, it's more of a merchant building or downtown business building. I just built it, put it there as just something to fill up some area, and made it an abandoned building. I'm going to take some evergreen plastic and make some boards and board up windows and that sort of stuff. And then over here, I believe this was a Walthers kit. Can't remember offhand, but a little cross dock. It's got the train side, and then over there it would have the truck side. And I'm going to light that one up as well. Again, that one's abandoned, so that's not going to get lit up. This one here, I'll have some dock lights, and I'll light up some of the inside of the building as well. And then over here, I built this. I didn't know what I was going to do with it originally before I laid the quote-unquote concrete. And then I found all this at the train show as well, all this scrap and everything. And I had a scrap load. I got 2 scrap loads for gondolas and that sort of stuff. And I got this crane here. It's like, you know what? I guess it's going to end up being a scrap yard. So I wanted something where could try to inlay some track into some concrete, and I think it worked out pretty well. Paint job is, yeah, so-so, but yeah, that is basically this layout. I'm working on a small seam that's going to go over here. This line here is probably going to just terminate somewhere around here. This one here will end up coming out and bending to the left here. This one here I'm going to have to realign a little farther over here and straighten it out so it can come out. And then that will have a little bit of elevation on it. But yeah, it's this is the layout that I tinker around with now. All right, so before it was rudely interrupted, a couple of the last things. I went to the dollar store and had bought some construction paper or poster board in the blue, and I'm not the world's greatest artist, but I did paint some hills and some clouds just because I got posters from the shows that I've been doing, and I got tired of seeing them behind the buildings. So there's like 4 sheets, and I just pinned them to the wall for now. Just temporary. Once it goes up into the other room, the walls will be properly painted and some proper backdrop will be put on there. And one last thing, I want to give a little shout out to an old-time YouTuber who unfortunately passed away this year. His name, he went by Shoestring, Hobo Shoestring, and he had a little tag, and I don't think it's going to actually focus on it, but I wrote down his tag on the bridge. This was before he passed, so he'll be forever remembered on my layout. So that is it at this point for this layout. I'll keep you updated. I might do a little bit more scenery on this, but once I finally get to the point where I get to the next module, I'll try to document that and keep you all posted. Until then, thank you all so much for watching. If you don't mind, you can comment, subscribe, helps the channel out. You know how all that works. So until next time, take care.